All right, scholars, we're here to talk about homophones and homographs. Now, those might seem like new terms to you. You might be used to the word homonyms, and homonyms is just the term for both of these things together. And we're going to talk specifically about homophones and homographs because that's how we'll use them this year. So first, let's take a look at homophones. Homophones are words that have the same sound, but that are spelled differently. If we look at our root word here for a second of our term to be defined, the part homo is from Greek and it means same. The phone part is also from Greek and it means sound. If you think about what you do on a telephone, you can hear the sound of somebody's voice even if they're far away from you. So same sound, homophones, is an easy way to remember that they are words that sound the same but that are spelled differently. So here are a couple of common examples. Wheel and wheel, road and road, aisle and there and there. English has so many homophones because we have so many different ways to spell the same sound and so many words that do end up sounding the same. Now, why does this matter? Well, we need to kind of have a mental check happening in our brain when we're writing to be aware that words have homophones and always be thinking about which version we're using. So if I'm writing, I rode my bicycle, I need to make sure that I'm choosing the road that means, the past tense of ride, and not I took my bicycle into the road. There, and there are pretty commonly confused, and it makes a difference to the way that we communicate with other people and their impression of us if we're using the wrong homophone. So that's why it's important for us to just be doing a mental check to be using the correct form. Other people are judging us, whether we like it or not, on how correctly we're using these words. All right, that's homophones. Now homographs. Homographs are words that are written the same, but that mean different things. Again, let's think about our word here. The homo part we know means the same. Graph is the Greek word that means writing. And so they're words that are written in the same way. And really that means they're spelled the same, but they mean different things. Now, the homophones have the same sound. Homographs sometimes have the same sound, and sometimes they are pronounced differently. Let's take a look. So let's look at the word can first. I might open a can of soup for supper. I might say that I can speak French, English, and Spanish. One of those is a noun, one of those is a verb. They generally have the same pronunciation. We actually say the word can a little bit differently if we put it in as a verb and say like, I can speak, and we don't emphasize it, but otherwise it generally has the same pronunciation. I can also have a word like read, where I've got I read every night, but if I use it as a past tense and say I read last night, it's the same spelling, it is a different pronunciation. The meanings are related, but they are different as well. All right, that's homographs. We need to pay attention to homographs because if we are trying to communicate clearly, we need to make sure that we are using the meaning to the best of our ability. And we also need to be aware of them as we hear or read what other people have written or what they say, so that we are understanding what they're talking about as well. So that takes us back to the topic for a second of contronyms. If we think about those words, where a contronym, remember, is a word that's its own opposite. So they are really similar to homographs in that way, because we have one word that can have two meanings that happen to be the opposite meaning as well. So off can mean functioning or not functioning. Like my alarm went off, it's functioning, or turn the light off, meaning it's not functioning. Or I can talk about fast and say like he's a really fast runner, meaning it's moving, implying movement, right? But I can bolt something down and then talk about how it doesn't move when it's really windy, it holds fast. And that means that it's not moving, it's staying still. Or I can have a word like sanctions. It's a great like social studies and current events term, where sanction might mean approve and it might mean not approve. For example, your actions might be sanctioned by your company if they are approving of what you're doing and they're kind of instructing you on what to do. A country might sanction another country or hold sanctions against another country by disapproving of what they're doing and then punishing them by not trading with them or other kinds of punishments. For example, the United States had sanctions against Cuba for a very long time that they've only recently lifted. So again, as we think about how to communicate clearly, contronyms are really important words for us to think about, and homophones and homographs make a difference in how we communicate and how we understand other people. All right, go off into the world with your newfound knowledge.